Good evening. I'm Madison Carmouche. Thanks for joining us this evening. Nearly 11 years ago, a medical helicopter crashed, killing 3 people in Manchester. Today, a group of first responders gathered in Salyersville to learn how to handle those situations. WYMT's Jack Demler tells us more about the training and the importance behind it.
Part of the Kentucky Fire Commission's required training involves dealing with aircrafts. And in eastern Kentucky, one of the most common aircraft first responders will encounter are helicopters.
It's probably going to be a medical helicopter. They're in our skies every day in eastern Kentucky. And a lot of times, unfortunately, multiple times a day.
First responders gathered at the Salyersville Volunteer Fire Department for the chance to have hands-on training for what Greg Gary calls uncommon situations.
Being in the fire service and not dealing with something on a common basis or dealing with it several times in the year, that can make things challenging.
Which makes the training that much more important for some first responders.
Especially being in a small community, most of the fire departments here are just volunteers, so I think having a little bit more knowledge, everyone having a little bit more knowledge just helps.
Knowledge that gets people familiar with aircraft fire situations.
Just being exposed to the size of an aircraft, how to make the proper entry if one's on fire, the aspects of the different components that can be on fire.
Situations they might not know about.
A lot of the times our jobs is already dangerous, but we still don't think about when we fly someone out, a helicopter is going to catch on fire or anything else. So I think that's just become aware.
Teaching first responders how to best prepare for difficult situations. In Salyersville, Jack Demler, WYMT Mountain News.
Gray says within the next week to 10 days, they will offer training classes in Johnson, Martin, Magoffin, Floyd, Pike, and Lawrence counties. Hundreds of people made their way to Pine Mountain State Resort Park for the 2024 SCCA Appalachian Hill Climbing Series. Eric Hubbard with Backroads of Appalachia says these events help bring economic development to the region while sharing motorsports with the community.
Well, we all felt welcome and loved and had a good time. Of course, that's money being spent in that community. I say we had about 3,500 people come and visit, locals, and all the people came in to race and our volunteers. And this couldn't be possible, of course, without the Appalachian Regional Commission, the state of Kentucky, and our legislators, our local governments, but most importantly, our volunteers, our firemen and our rescue and our tow services from locally.
Hubbard says these types of events have grown throughout the past 4 years of hosting it in Bell County. Racers who participated in the hill climb races also visited an elementary school in Pineville. Students got to see the ins and outs of racing while getting a hands-on look at the cars. Racer Ryan Cheek says they want to inspire the next generation by showing them what is possible in the world of racing.
We definitely want to influence the next generation. Racing is going to have little race fans who grow up to be racers. We have to have little race fans that grow up to be the engineers and designers and the people that are going to work on the cars. We need mechanics. We need people that can use the computers to tune our cars.
Cheek says they also taught students about the safety that goes into hill climb racing as well as the race community itself.
Well, it's a chilly night out there, and temperatures right now have fallen into the 40s. It is 43 in Hazard, 46 in Manchester, 48 in Harlan, 47 for Jonesville, 41 in Wise, 46 for Clintwood, 45 for Pikeville, 46 in Prestonsburg, 44 in Jackson, and 44 in Irvin. We are looking at a cold night tonight, a cold and frosty night, as temperatures are going to fall down into the mid-30s across our area. Light wind, partly cloudy, and frost developing as we go into the later parts of the night tonight into tomorrow morning. We look at the day tomorrow, we're going to see highs generally into the low to mid-60s as well. Plenty of sunshine across our area. We'll start out into the mid to upper 30s, and then we'll see those numbers climb into the low to mid-60s. Good news is, at least for tomorrow, we are going to have plenty plenty of sunshine across our area, but we do again have that frost advisory in effect for our area for overnight tonight. So that does mean that you definitely want to bring those plants inside or cover them up because a widespread frost is expected.
For anyone in the Commonwealth looking to vote in this year's primary, tomorrow is your last day to register. If you're looking to register to vote, you have a few options. You can visit your local county clerk's office and do it there. You can register online, or you can also mail your registration in. Kentucky's primary election is May 21st. While the legislative session may have ended, one Kentucky lawmaker says he is already focused on how to bring back a controversial bill next year. Republican Senator Mike Wilson said he hopes lawmakers use the coming months to craft another version of the DEI bill, which failed this year. It would have defunded diversity, equity, and inclusion offices and officer positions at schools. Senator Wilson says he will use the time off from Frankfurt to make the changes needed for the bill to pass both chambers. Democratic Senator Gerald Neal called the anti-DEI proposal an attempt to reverse progress made in the Commonwealth. A law regarding underage vaping is now at the center of a lawsuit. House Bill 11 will prevent the sale of any vape products without FDA authorization or a safe harbor certification. Some store owners say the law would prevent them from being able to sell most of their products, as the FDA has only authorized 23 products. House Bill 11 also creates harsher penalties for retailers who sell tobacco products to people under 21. One vape store owner says he has no issue with this part of the bill.
Because you have to be 21 to walk in the front door. You can be 3 years old and stumble in a gas station and see alcohol, cigarettes.
Secretary of State Michael Adams is named as a defendant in the suit. Adams' office says they have not received the lawsuit yet, so they have no comment. The head of Kentucky's Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control is also named in the suit. The department says they have not yet been served and also have no comment. We first reported last August that Bath County saw the highest rate of overdose deaths per capita across the Commonwealth. Now the county coroner says those numbers are going down significantly. As Alyssa Williams shares, curbing this issue has been a top priority for county leaders.
As drug overdose deaths continue to plague our urban areas, they're also happening in small-town America, and for some counties at an alarming rate.
This is one of the more bigger issues that we're trying to combat.
Last year, Kentucky's 2022 overdose fatality report showed that Bath County had the highest overdose deaths per capita across the state. With a population of nearly 13,000, 20 overdose deaths gave Bath County that #1 spot.
To know that we were that county affected us all. So we knew that we had to do something.
In a joint effort between county and city leaders and local law enforcement, they've worked to combat this issue at its core.
The Bath County Sheriff's Office and the Owensville Police Department have kind of put together a little strike force team. There's 4 of us working. Some days we're working with no sleep, but we're still out there fighting.
Sergeant Ben Buckler, Sr. with the Bath County Sheriff's Office, says the community has also stepped up to help.
We're getting calls, tips daily. We're investigating those tips.
This has resulted in more than a dozen drug-related arrests this year and only 1 overdose death since January.
We could call it a win, but yet someone lost their life. But with that number going down increasingly, and we're hoping, we may never have a 0, but we're hoping to get there.
Bath County Coroner Andrew Owens says this decrease means one thing.
That there's hope. That there's hope, and not for just Bath County, for all counties around that's having that problem. We all just have to come together and fight it.
In Bath County, Alyssa Williams.
Buckler adds that law enforcement plans to create a countywide neighborhood watch program soon. He says this will break down the barrier between police and community members, all while involving the community in the fight against drugs. Coming up at 11, former President Donald Trump is in the historic hot seat as his hush money trial starts tomorrow.